Hello everyone, in today's class I'll explain about group by together with joins as used in SQL. Welcome once again. Watch the video from the start to the end to grab the concept. At this point I'll fire up the SQL. Then I pull a new query. The database I'm going to use for my demonstration, I'm going to choose the database C12 Office Applies. So here I'm going to find total sales grouped by year, region, customer name, and product name. So I'm going to get the total sales, then group by year, region, customer name, and product name. So first thing first, I'll define what group by means in SQL. Okay, group by is used to group the result set either by one or more column, mostly used in conjunction with aggregate functions. So the aggregate functions, examples, we have the maximum, the minimum, average, etc. Later on, I'll introduce how the joins comes in. So I'll first type the question here. So this question here will help us understand what group by means. So the question, I'll just type the question here. I'm supposed to find the total sales, grouped by group by number one, the year. I'm going to group by region, also group by the customer name, and lastly I'll group by product name. So by going through this, you should be able to grasp the concept and understand deeper about on how to group by. Okay. So to start with, I'm going to use the database C12 Office Applies. Go. It's always important to specify from which database we are querying from, and here I'm going to use C12 Office Applies. So that one is very important before doing anything. So the question goes this way: find the total sales grouped by year, region, customer name, product name. So here I'm just going to type select. So what I'm going to do is to select from database here, DPO, customer products. When I run this query, I'll be able to see all the columns that will enable my calculation. For example, to get the total sales, I'll multiply the unit price multiplied by the number of units to get the amount of the sales. Then I go ahead and get the total sales by using the sum function. So I'm going to use the sum total sales. Again, this column here, the date ordered, I need to convert it to year so that it's now, to make it more presentable or to make it more appealing, or to answer the question as it is, because you realize that this column here comprises of the year, the month, and the date. So I need to extract only the year from this column. So I'll go ahead and I'll first convert that column to year. So I'm going to convert this date ordered by using the year function. Okay, so the year function, if I execute it, now returns the years. So I can see I can give an alias as year. Okay, now to get the amount sold or the total sales, I need to multiply the units by the unit price. This one will give the total, this will give the total sales. Okay, so this one is the total amount. So the formula here will give or return the total amount, but the question here requires the total sales. So the amount multiplied by, or we're going to use the sum function to get the total sales. So I use the function name sum. Let me try execute this query. It gives an error. So whenever you see an error, so everything seems to be okay in that query, but when you run it, it gives an error. The reason being, I must include, so to do that error, I need to introduce the group by. So I'm going to group it by here. So I copy this, then I paste. I now execute to get the answer. Good. Now, in my results set here, the total sales is rounded into 2 decimal places, or it returns a decimal value with 2 decimal places. So I want to do away with these decimals. So I'll do away the decimals by using the cast. The cast function will do the job. So the cast here will change the data type from decimal to integer. So I'm going to cast as decimal 18 0. So this formula here will remove the decimals when I execute. So I now have the results as int without the decimals. So that is well grouped. So the first one, or the first, is grouping. So I'm grouping it by, so I'm writing it here, grouping by year. So total sales grouped by year. So just need to include that. Total sales grouped by year. So let's do the next one. So I'm going to group by region. So the next one is group by region. So the group by region, I'm going to use the table named region. Okay. So I first select all or star from DPO region. Okay, and execute. It returns only two columns, the region ID and the region name. But here I need to do the total sales. So how do you go about introducing other columns, like the units, the unit price, to give us or to enable us compute a total sales? So here the joins comes in. So I'm going to match or combine data from two or more tables. So I'm going to combine the data from customer products table with regions table based on related column. So the related column here is going to be the region ID. So what is common with the two tables is the region ID. Okay. Let me confirm, or let me check if that is true. So I want to check if the region ID is also common in customer product table from DPO customer products table, and execute. Okay, yeah, it's there. So that this column here, so I'm going to relate the two tables based on this column here. Okay. Another way you can check if the two or whether the two tables are related. This is another way of doing it. So I just go to DPO region, then I right click. And then select the sign. Okay. Then at this point I right click again, then I select relationship. Okay. So you can see here the customer product relates with regions table based on the region ID. So if I check it here again, good. So these are the keys. So in the regions table, the region ID is the primary key, while in customer product table, the region ID is the primary key, or the foreign, sorry. So the two keys are used to merge or combine the two tables. So I'll go ahead and introduce the joins. So I'm going to join the regions table. So I'm going to join DBO customer products table. So the initial is CB on CB based on region ID, cosine region table based again on region ID. So when I execute this one, you notice that it brings the remaining columns. Like I'm interested here with the unit column, the unit price. These are the three columns that I'm interested with. Of course, the region name, the units, the unit price. So from the two columns, I'll be able to calculate the amount, and then later on I compute the total sales from the amount. Okay. So how will we go about? So I'll first call the region name. So I need to call the region name. Also the units. So this one I need just to copy. So to avoid typing it, I'll just copy this as it is. Copying with a cast so that I get the result as int. Okay, so this one is as this. Let me copy everything to this point and copy everything. Good. So this one will give the output or the total sales rounded to 0 decimal places. Okay, then I group. So I'm going to group by region name. Okay, then I now execute, get the result. Good. So I now have the output or the total sales grouped by region. Okay. Okay, let me move to the next. So I now group. I want to do the total sales grouped by customer name and group by customer name. This is my next task. So grouping by customer name, I need to select star from my table. So the table name is the customer table. And execute. You realize that it gives the customer ID, customer name through to create the date without the unit price column. So to combine the customer table with custom product table, consider that the custom product table is where you find the column, units, and the unit price. So I'm going to join the custom product with the customer table based on the related key, which is the customer ID. So the two table, I'm going to join them using the customer ID. Okay, let me check if that is the case. So I go to customer, sign to see alright, so you can see the customer product table contains the foreign key cells from the products. So I'm going to join the table name product again and custom products. So let me check which table relates with this table and which key to be precise. So check on relationship. So I'm going to use custom products table, and the key I'm going to use to relate or to match, to combine, is the product ID. So the product ID is the common key, or the key that is common between the two tables, or that relates the two tables. Okay. So I'm going to combine the product table with the customer products by using the product ID. So I'm going to join my table here is the customer product table. I can leave the initial of CB on CB the product ID equals sign B dot product ID. Okay. I now execute. So I now have the product together with the unit sold and the unit price with the respective unit price. So here I'm able to calculate the total sales. So I now call the product name together with this. So I'm going to leave it, stop typing it because it's just the same thing. So I'm going to leave that as it is. Then I group. So here I'm going to group by product name. So this one is grouped by product name. Then I go ahead and order by. So I'm going to order by this column, total sales. Okay. And then I execute. Get the result. So it's crime. Let me just remove this one. When I execute. Good. So I now have, so I can sort in descending so that I can get the product. Okay. So the product that I sell is the binder. So that is how the group by and joins are used in SQL. Thank you for watching. See you again in my next video. If you find the video helpful, you can go ahead and subscribe, like, can as well drop your comment.